Alright, so what I'm doing here today is taking apart my Tokyo Marui Desert Warrior. I'm going to be polishing some parts and installing a new piston head, the Element brand you see in the pink packaging right there. First part is taking off the slide, and if you don't know how to do that and you own a 1911, you should probably quit airsoft because you don't know how to operate your own weapons. Here I'm blowing out a lot of the dust and dirt that I've gotten in there from a whole season's worth of play. I just haven't cleaned it out since the last time I used it. Next part here is taking off the slide, or taking down the slide, sliding out the guide rod bushing and the guide rod and recoil spring. It's actually a little bit more difficult now because I do have an upgraded recoil spring and hammer spring installed, so that upgraded recoil spring makes it a little more difficult to get it out of there, but it's worth it. In general, I like Tokyo Marui pistols. I've heard some people who are new to the sport like, oh, Tokyo Marui guns are crap because they're made of plastic and there's no metal in them and blah 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 blah, and they have a low FPS. Well, yeah, Tokyo Marui guns may be plastic, especially their pistols, but I've been using this gun for 2 seasons on green gas with the upgraded recoil spring and hammer spring, and it still functions flawlessly. So you get a Marui. They basically do not break ever. Next part here is taking apart the hop-up unit and get the inner barrel out. 2 screws, comes apart. It's just a 2-piece sort of clamshell kind of deal. There's the hop-up adjustment arm and dial. That really only fits together one way. And there's Teflon tape right there already from the last time I opened this pistol up. Inspecting the bucking just to make sure it looks good and it's not worn out. Here I'm polishing the rails, the metal rails on the frame of the pistol, just to make sure it slides a little bit easier, gets that extra bit of gas efficiency, and that also cleans them off really well. You gotta be really careful here to not hit the frame, because it will just burn right through it. Next part is polishing the barrel. You'll see me do this a few times now. Clean it out with rubbing alcohol, paper towel on a cleaning rod, put some polish in the barrel, and then run through it with cotton swabs until it comes out clean. And then clean it off and clean it out with rubbing alcohol. And here I'm reinstalling Teflon Tape. What that does is just squeeze the bucking onto the barrel harder, so you get a little bit, get a better air seal, and you don't waste any gas when the pistol is cycling. It brings up your efficiency, brings up your can bring up your FPS by a little bit. Blown out the hop-up assembly itself with some canned air, just to make sure nothing got in there unnecessarily. And then I dropped the hop-up dial. I see how long that barrel is only about as like 3.5 inches long. I can pull headshots on people at about 100 feet with this pistol, and I have done it on numerous occasions. Like, you can precision shoot with this pistol at almost AEG range. It's insane, and it's a Marui, and you can't do that with pretty much any other pistol unless you've replaced basically everything in it. Putting the barrel back together, that just slides back together. Make sure everything's fitting right and sliding easily. Blowback chamber, get the blowback chamber out. On Marui 1911s, there's a little screw right next to the ejection cover. It's like a little piece of rail that you can actually just take out, and don't lose that screw, because that rail will fall out while you're operating the pistol, and it will just totally gum up the works. So magnetic dish is recommended. That little rail will actually just kind of cant out and sort of bring out the longer end first. And then on Marui 1911s, I've seen them sometimes with a Phillips head, sometimes with a 2.5 millimeter screw on the back of the slide where the hammer hits. You unscrew that, and then on this, I don't think on this one. After that screws out, you can just slide out the blowback chamber. And to do that, you sort of pull the two halves of the slide, the two sides of the slide apart, and then the blowback chamber will come right out. You got to be careful though, because on the top of the blowback chamber is a long spring that fits into a slot on the top of the blowback chamber, and that if you lose that, your blowback chamber won't function at all, because it keeps the nozzle moving back and forth. The piston head in there, it's a Phillips head screwdriver. Just take that right off. Stock one, really, it's not really a piston head. It's sort of like a gasket and frame. There's no O-ring. It seals okay. I find that something that's ported works a little bit better. This Element piston head that I have, I've already deburred it. And originally I thought it wouldn't fit, but it's actually pretty much an exact fit, sort of like how well-made bushings will fit into a gearbox. Like you have to kind of not force it, but if you don't put it on exactly right, it won't go on. And so here I'm reassembling the pistol. Actually, get that piston head on, it was a 2 millimeter hex bit. So I just put the screw through the piston head first, and then just screwed it directly onto the blowback chamber, and that worked pretty well. It just sort of got it on in the exact right way. And here's some firing.